We're coming to you live from our Auckland Park studios. This is Prime News on SABC 3. Here are the top stories making headlines.
Our society is sick and tired of this epidemic of violence against women and children that has engulfed our country.
Pete Simiao has been sentenced to 2 life imprisonment for the rape and murder of Amantle Samane. The EFF in the Free State has threatened to shut down the medical practice of a Kronstadt doctor whose grandson they're accusing of shooting and killing a man and burying him in an unmarked shallow grave on his farm.
The district will be working closely with the school on a recovery plan for the learners.
Gauteng Education MEC has promised to build a new school for learners at Alra Park Primary School in Nigel, Ekurhuleni within the next 18 months. It has just gone 8 o'clock Central African time. A very good evening to you. This is Prime News on SABC 3. I am Paulette Nell. Good to have you with us this evening. Let's get into it. We begin here tonight. The mother of 6-year-old Amantle Samane, who was raped and murdered in Soweto, is still seeking answers as to why her child was targeted by Mozambican national Pete Simiao. Simiao has been sentenced to 2 life imprisonment for the rape and murder of Samane in his shack in Orlando East in October last year.
Pete Simiao is expected to spend years behind bars. Judge William Karam was scathing in his remarks when sentencing the Mozambican national to 2 life imprisonment for rape and murder, 2 years for kidnapping, and another 2 years for contravening the Immigration Act. The sentences will run concurrently.
Our society is sick and tired of this epidemic of violence against women and children that has engulfed our country. The accused is clearly a danger to society.
Amani was only 6 years old when Simiao raped and killed her.
I still want to know why he did what he did. What pushed him, because no one in their right mind would do this. Even though he has been sentenced, I still don't have closure.
But I also told closure because about why I into it.
The young girl's body was found in Simiao's shack by Orlando East residents.
The sentence that was delivered by the court is a just sentence, one that befits the crime, the criminal, the seriousness of the offences he has committed, as well as the impact that the crime had on the family of Amantle.
His defence team says the outcome of the court was expected.
With regard to the issue of showing remorse and regretting, yes, I understand there's a difference between showing remorse and regretting, but he indicated that he wanted to plead guilty.
Nerea Hlakotsa, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Meanwhile, a suspect has been arrested in Bronkhorst, east of Pretoria, following the alleged rape of a grade 4 learner at a local primary school last month. Learning and teaching have been halted since Friday last week after parents demanded answers from the school and called for a thorough investigation.
A meeting seeking transparency and accountability. These parents are vexed over the recent alleged rape incident at a Bronkhorst primary school. It's alleged that a grade 4 learner was sexually assaulted in the school's toilets last month. Parents say they are concerned about the way the matter has been handled by the school's management, claiming they were not informed. And they're also worried about safety in the school environment.
A 9-year-old has been removed from school while the perpetrator is still walking the grounds.
We decided as parents that we want the school governing body to be removed with immediate effect. The deputy principal as well to be removed with immediate effect. And then we can start again, choose somebody who's capable.
The community has called for a thorough investigation into the matter. saying this is not the first case.
Upon hearing that there's an incident here in Bronkhorst Primary School, they agreed to themselves that they are not going to tell the greater community and the parents about the situation. So we are holding them, one, in contravention, two, in contempt of the laws of depriving the parents the right to know that in this school it's not safe for them to bring their children, because there is a perpetrator that continues to molest our children, especially the girl children, sexually.
The suspect is expected to appear at the Bronkhorst Magistrates Court on Wednesday.
We will be updating the parents as well as to what exactly happened throughout from the first day, from the 12th of August up until where we are today.
The Provincial Education Department is yet to respond. Bulimone Moto, SABC News, Bronkhorst.
The EFF in Free State has threatened to shut down the medical practice of a Kronstadt doctor whose grandson they are accusing of shooting and killing a man and burying him in an unmarked shallow grave on his farm. Last week, the party called on the police to arrest the suspect. Police say they discovered the decomposed body of an unknown man on 20 August 2025 on a farm next to the road between Kronstadt and Welkom.
It's alleged that the deceased was fatally shot and buried secretly in an unmarked grave on 11 July 2025. The EFF says the body was found by police upon confession of a farm worker who participated in the digging and burying of the corpse. During the demonstrations at the medical practice, the doctor, who is said to be the grandfather of the suspect, came out.
Saw these 6 people and then he shot at them and then he killed one of them. What happened to the body?
What happened to it?
To the body of the dead man.
The body of the dead man?
Yes.
The body of the dead man? Yes, I know. I did the wrong thing. I should have called the police.
Yeah, you admit to bury the dead man.
So you admit it?
So that if I didn't bury him immediately, the jackal would have eaten him.
We have agreed with the police that if no arrest is made by Wednesday, we are going to come back here and close this surgery permanently so as to ensure that the black man who was murdered at Dr. Trotsky's family will finally also get justice for the brutal murder of one of their own.
Meanwhile, police say DNA samples of the decomposed body have been taken. They also say no arrests have been made. Kamagelo Siekwi, SABC News in Bloemfontein.
Welcome back to this now. Gauteng Education MEC Madume Chilwane has promised to build a new school for learners at Alra Park Primary School in Nigel, Ekurhuleni within the next 18 months. Chilwane made this commitment whilst visiting the school following last week's disruptions. Learners have not been to school for 3 weeks. This after concerned parents halted teaching and learning at the school, citing health and safety concerns after a window fell and injured one of the staffers.
A heated scuffle ensued during the much-anticipated meeting between the Education MEC, other departmental officials, and the school governing body. It's the 4th week that learners have not been attending school due to parents' concern for their well-being. However, the impasse between the Education Department and parents seems to have now been resolved. Learners are expected back at school gradually in different phases during the course of this week.
I have to say we did find each other. It's not good that our children are at home for so many weeks because they are losing a very important aspect of teaching and learning. And it becomes quite difficult now to recover. But however, the district will be working closely with the school on a recovery plan for the learners.
The MEC's intervention has been welcomed.
On behalf of the SGB and the Crisis Committee, we really appreciate the visit by the district office as well as the MEC. We know there's been a very rough situations before this, but we are very excited and the commitment by the district that the immediate issues will be taken care of.
The department is expected to spend between 80 and 120 million rand to build the new school. Refilo Mekwa, SABC News, Nigel Egoleni.
Johannesburg Mayor Dada Morero says that Lillian Ngoyi Street, formerly Bree Street, will be fully accessible to all modes of transport and pedestrians from next Friday. The inner city street was closed for over 2 years following an underground gas explosion, resulting in extensive damage and a loss of life. The road's rehabilitation has been marred by delays after the original contractors failed to complete the project.
Tourists and pedestrians are expected to start using Lillian Ngoyi Street as of the 12th of September. Some commuters are hopeful that the reopening of the street will bring relief to the traffic congestion in the inner city. The road has been closed to the public for refurbishments following a 2023 underground methane gas explosion that damaged the street. 450 meters of the road is now resurfaced using paving bricks instead of tar.
There is no compromise at all in terms of its strength and durability. In fact, if you look at the interlock block pavers, are much thicker compared to the asphalt.
The city of Johannesburg has completed the refurbishment of the underground tunnels as part of Phase 1. Phase 2, which involves paving the sidewalks, will be completed by next week Friday. The mayor insists that the project is on schedule despite having previously committed to an August deadline.
It's just finalizing the sidewalks. Once we have done that, that's why I'm saying smaller issues by the 12th, it will be fully used by motorists and pedestrians.
Meanwhile, the Democratic Alliance has accused the mayor of misleading the public.
The Democratic Alliance in Johannesburg is outraged by the mayor willfully misleading residents of the city of Joburg with regards to spiraling costs and shifting deadlines of the Lillian Ngoyi road upgrade. The initial contract was worth 172 million, with 22 million rand spent for just 22% of the work. The new 192 million contract was then signed to complete the remaining 78%.
The opposition party is calling for an investigation into the awarding of the contract. Balentle Mthethwa, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Agriculture Minister John Steenhuisen says he's concerned about reports of livestock showing signs of foot and mouth disease being moved from one area to the next with no protocol being adhered to. This after the department battles to contain foot and mouth disease.
The issue of foot and mouth disease is not only weighing heavily on the minds of livestock farmers.
Believe you me, FMD, I wake up in the morning worrying about FMD and worrying what we can do, and I go to sleep every night worrying about it.
Steenhuisen added that government is doing all it can, taking hands with industry role players to ensure that down the line the country will be free of foot and mouth disease, but expressed concern about those that are not adhering to protocols.
Too many reports of farmers moving cattle showing clinical signs of disease, or just simply treating them privately and not reporting them. This is deeply concerning to us and is highly irresponsible.
The department has set up an extensive task team consisting of very senior government officials as well as industry role players to achieve this.
And I wish to make the announcement today about who will be sitting on this incredibly important team. Government and the department, the ministry, will be represented by Dr. Emily Mogajani, who is the Chief Director, Biosecurity Coordination, Dr. Modasani, Chief Director, Animal Health and Production, Dr. Nomsa Mnisi, the Director of Biosecurity Support Services.
Zaleen Merrington, SABC News, Parliament.
The inquest into the Highgate Hotel massacre of 1993 that led to the death of 5 people and injury to 7 others heard testimony of horrific scenes that awaited the first responders. A former neighbor of the Highgate Hotel in East London, Mark Bush, testified that he was one of the first people on the scene. Bush told the special tribunal sitting in East London that he and his friend, Stephen Lee Good, used their clothes to try and stop the bleeding of the shot victims.
Got there, an ambulance had kind of just arrived at the same time. They had the back of the ambulance open, and when I got there, I said to them, "Are you going to help him?" And the ambulance people just turned around and said to me, "No, we need to wait." I said, "You can't wait. There are people injured here. You can see there's people injured here. There's someone you can get to." And they absolutely did nothing. They just basically looked at us. So Stephen and myself, we ran up the stairs. We grabbed the guy. I remember taking my right hand, putting it over the guy's intestine, holding it in place, and basically dragging the guy out, and then demanded a stretcher from the ambulance crew. I said, "Give me a stretcher and we'll get this guy onto the stretcher." And that we put him onto the stretcher.
Thank you for staying with us. Let's shift our focus to this now. The High Court in Cape Town has granted the City of Cape Town and the National Department of Home Affairs and Public Works permission to serve notices of eviction at 2 sites that are unlawfully occupied by foreign nationals. Official government and United Nations processes have concluded at both sites, but over 350 people refused all assistance.
Foreign nationals were relocated to 2 sites during the COVID pandemic under Level 5 lockdown emergency regulations. This after they were evicted from Green Market Square and the Central Methodist Church. Citing fears of xenophobia, demands were made from within the foreign national community for relocation to Europe and Canada. Since then, hundreds of people who lived at the 2 camps opted to be reintegrated into communities or returned to their countries of origin.
The city has repeatedly over many years, dating back to the COVID lockdown, made efforts to assist these foreign residents with reintegration, all of which have been declined and denied and refused. And so now the only option is that they have to be evicted from those sites, and unfortunately probably will also need to be deported out of South Africa back to their country of origin.
Those still at these 2 sites says returning to the communities they once lived in or to their countries of birth is not possible.
We don't want also to go back to our country because we ran away our country. How we can go back where we ran away? So in the community, we can't even go back in the community because we are not safe there.
Conditions at the Paint City site are appalling. While the city emphasizes that an eviction notice will be served, the process to remove people from the site could take some time. Meanwhile, the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure has welcomed the eviction, saying, among others, millions of rands paid monthly to maintain tents and facilities at the sites will be redirected to urgent public needs. Mariska Botha, SABC News, Cape Town.
Bafana Bafana coach Hugo Bros has called up Orlando Pirates midfielder Sipombule as a replacement for the injured Patrick Maswanganyi for back-to-back 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Lesotho and Nigeria.
I have to say to Tito, sorry, go home. We can't take that risk. His replacement is Sifo Mbule. Why Sifo Mbule? I think everybody agrees that he's a player with much qualities. And I have to agree also that the past years we didn't really see what we expected from a player like that. But he's an experienced player, and he's a player, one of those players who can play on that position.
With that, let's hand it over to the weather desk to see what the weather has in store for us. Don't move that dial.
Good evening and welcome. Let's take a look at what to expect weather-wise for tonight as well as tomorrow. Clear skies over the central as well as the western parts of the country. Otherwise, partly cloudy conditions with isolated showers and rain expected over the eastern parts of the Eastern Cape into KwaZulu-Natal. It will, however, be scattered along the eastern coastline and the adjacent interior of the Eastern Cape. Now tomorrow, no rainfall is forecast, just starting off with early morning fog patches over the western, southeastern, as well as the eastern parts of the country. Those fog patches expected to reduce visibility to less than a kilometer in places. So please do take caution if you are driving early tomorrow morning, and do keep a safe following distance. Otherwise, it will be clear over the central as well as the northwestern parts of the country. Partly cloudy skies expected in places over the southern, southeastern, and extreme northeastern parts. South African Weather Service warning of damaging interior winds over the eastern parts of the Northern Cape into the western parts of the northwest and the central and western parts of the Free State. That coupled with high fire danger conditions in places stretching to the extreme eastern parts of the Free State and the interior of the Eastern Cape, where runaway veld fires are possible. So please do take caution in those regions and do not cause any unnecessary fires. Overnight temperatures in Kimberley down to 12, 10 degrees expected in Bloemfontein and Vryburg, as well as in George Oudtshoorn, an overnight low of 8 peaking at 32 tomorrow. Komani will be warm at 31. Fasi in Johannesburg expecting 30, but still a cool day in Durban forecast with a maximum of 24. That's your weather. Just stay tuned to SABC News.
We're going to have to park it here for tonight. Much gratitude for joining us. Until next time, good night. God bless. Pula.